Valentine's Day. Yep. It's all about spreading love and fairness to all generations. Here at AARP, I love educating on Social Security because it gives me the chance to empower our members with the knowledge they need to navigate their Social Security. It ensures fairness and understanding in Social Security, um, which is crucial. In being a part of AARP allows me to make that positive impact on the lives of those who have contributed so much to our society. So let's move forward. So first, I like to make a lot of sport references. So let's just get started with one fresh out the gate. So imagine Social Security as your financial defense. So just like an athlete blocking shots, it protects you from unexpected financial hits in retirement. And let's talk about the future of Social Security. Congressional action is needed to secure Social Security. AARP is fighting to protect your Social Security payments because you've earned it. Now, AARP has urged Social Security to reverse the planned customer service changes and is pleased that we have done so. And weeks prior, AARP sent multiple letters asking Social Security Administration to roll back the changes. On Thursday, March 19th, AARP's Nancy Lamont sent a letter to the Social Security Commissioner at the time, Lee Dudick, strongly opposing the changes. Right now, we're hearing from thousands of older Americans who are confused and concerned about their Social Security payments and the status of Social Security field offices and long wait times on the phone to get their questions answered. We're urging Social Security to be clear on how they are going to improve customer service, make sure the phones are being answered by fully trained representatives who can accurately answer Americans' questions. And for 90 years, Social Security has never missed a payment, and AARP and our millions of members across the country are not going to stand by and let that happen now. So securing Social Security for the future, Congress has several options to address the program's long-term physical challenges. For example, here are 5 potential solutions to make sure that Social Security can pay out 100% of earned payments for everyone who is eligible for generations to come. And now you can learn more about these options. You can visit the websites of the organizations on the screen. The free interactive educational websites are listed on and listed there below. And I'll get into some more resources towards the tail end of the presentation. So let's go into the Social Security Fairness Act. Now, the 2025 Social Security Fairness Act repeals 2 provisions, the Windfall Elimination Provision, also known as WEP, WEP, and the Government Pension Offset, also referred to as GPO. These previously reduced Social Security payments for individuals who also receive pensions from jobs not covered by Social Security, such as teachers, firefighters, and police officers. This new law impacts approximately 3 million current retirees, their spouses, ex-spouses, and surviving spouses. If you worked in a public sector job or received a pension, you are likely affected by this change. Now, this law, as you see on the screen, is retroactive to January 1st, 2024. And what that means is that all eligible recipients will receive back payments for 2024, and their Social Security payments will be adjusted to include the increased payments moving forward. The Social Security Administration and Congress are still in the process of determining how to finalize this payment, but today marks May 6th. As of April 1st, they have started sending out these payments. So if you believe you're eligible to receive this increase in payments, you should do the following, which is update your information. Ensure your mailing addresses and direct deposit information with the Social Security Administration are up to date, and set up a mySSA account at login.gov. If you already have a mySSA account, monitor it for updates from Social Security Administration about your increased payments. Let's get into the key changes and impacts of the Fairness Act. So the key changes are who benefits the repeal many health public sector employees with non-covered pension, as about 72% of state and local employees are in Social Security covered jobs and are unaffected by WEP or GPO. Beneficiaries entitled to retroactive payments will get a one-time deposit in their accounts, a lump sum, with the monthly benefit of payment increases beginning in April. That's just last month. This impact remove benefits increased or payments increased, qualified beneficiaries will receive higher payments retroactively. And the implementation, the Social Security Administration is revising records and providing new payment or benefit amounts. So that would be police officers, many that received from state or local government jobs that weren't covered, firefighters, similar to police officers. Firefighters often have pensions from non security coverage. So moving forward for the Social Security Fairness Act, it no longer affects those individuals. The WEP and GPO means higher monthly payments or benefits starting as last month. And why and how is this done? It eliminated the unfair penalties on public sector employees. So say again, it's updating records to process payments using optimization. And you should receive a lump sum. So if you received a lump sum last month and you might have been confused and didn't receive the notice and you received the money first, which sometimes happens with Social Security, it's your back payments all the way back to January of 2024. You should have received possibly mailed notices about the changes, or again, go online, set up that mySSA account and manage those payments of your Social Security online. And how do you apply for Social Security? I also always get that question, even though it's a very common one, but it's still just as important. You want to set up a My Social Security account at login.gov, as you see there first, before going to SSA.gov with that new change of having to update that information. Also, the 1-800 number, the 772-1213. And then, as you see, the TTY number under there as well, or in person at your local field office. And you can use ssa.gov/locator to find your nearest field office. And I do want to go into other resources available to you as you try to navigate your Social Security. AARP is here to help. Now we have a newly redesigned Social Security webpage. AARP has revamped our webpage to enhance the user experience just last month as well, to provide clear information about your Social Security payments or benefits. We streamlined the design to update the layout so it's more user-friendly, visuals, and just a straightforward language to clarify complex information. When you're going through that information, you will see that it is reviewed by myself to make sure that it is accurate. We prioritize tools and move those calculators and other webinars higher up on the page. And the benefits improve the accessibility so you can locate the necessary information. No clicking around for 10 to 20 minutes. You get the information you need quick as you will need it. And an enhanced navigation added a explore feature for popular Social Security topics. And then we also have another tool. It's your questions answered tool. You'll see the link down there, answers.aarp.org, to use this free tool. Let's see here, the AARP tool. To search for answers, you select Social Security from the drop-down box. From the top of the page, you can either scroll through frequently asked questions around Social Security, or find one that matches your question. You can enter your own question into the dialog box as well. Now, you do need to have a current AARP.org login to utilize this tool, and you will need to be logged into the website to submit your question. If you submit a unique question, you will receive an answer from a Social Security expert such as myself within hopefully 2 to 3 business days. We do sometimes take some time on the weekends. But you can find your questions answered tool again at answers.aarp.org/social security. Now, I know that was a good amount of information. I'm going to tag my good friend here, Mike, and we're going to go through some questions that you might have of some of the things that I went over. Mike, do we have any questions in the Q&A by chance? I'm going to take a sip of water. I felt like I just talked for like hours.
First question we have is Social Security under threat? And what is AARP doing to protect Social Security?
So we are reaching out to Congress. That's a great question. We're reaching out to Congress. We're fighting every day. We're sending messages. As again, we was able to scale back that change that was about to happen with the phone system. That is one win that we recently received last month to keep the phones operating so people can get the answers to the questions they have. And we're there every day on the Hill fighting for Social Security, retirement, and Social Security overall for all those that have earned it.
Okay. We have a question from Marie. She's claiming that she's a CSRS employee without enough quarters on her own merits there. How does this new law help me receive my husband's benefits?
And that's a great question. So what she's referring to is those credits that you have to earn over 10 years or 40 credits because you can earn 4 credits each year. But unfortunately, if you don't have enough, you cannot receive Social Security retirement. But how that can help you to be able to claim on your spouse's record is that you will be able to claim as a spouse on their work record. And if he received or she received a increased payment due to this, then in result, their family maximum will be increased, which then means that you might receive more yourself as a spouse on that work record. That was a great question. Any other questions?
Yeah, we have one from Laura. She says that she worked in local government for over 10 years. She will apply for Social Security in a few years. Does the WEP repeal apply to local government?
Yep, great question. I love the specific question that you just posed. So it applies to all that receive Social Security. Just a straightforward. It affects everyone. So no, this is no longer a rule that will be in place.
We have another question from a woman named Bunny.
Okay.
I am due to receive a pension from the UK in September 26th. Does the appeal of WEP mean this won't decrease my USA Social Security pension?
Correct. You're just straight correct.
Okay.
Yes.
We have one from Kim. If I
Okay.
collect a pension from a former employee, will that affect my Social Security benefits?
It would have used to would affect your Social Security payments or benefits, but now with the new rule from the Social Security Fairness Act, it will no longer have an effect.
We have another question. If my spouse is getting ready to retire, but we are separated, never remarried, how do I qualify to collect from his retirement, but I'm not retiring yet?
Answer that. Pose that question for me again, Mike. Sorry.
If my spouse is getting ready to retire, but we are separated, never remarried, how do I qualify to collect from his retirement, but I'm not retiring yet?
And that's a great question. So to be eligible for ex-spousal, as I'm assuming would be the category we in the subject, you would have at least been married for at least 10 years. So 9 years, 11 months, unfortunately won't cut it. It has to be 10 years. They're very strict about that. And like you said, currently unmarried. And then you have to at least be age 62 to claim that. Now, I want to note that that could come at a reduction at claiming at 62, on your ex-spouse's record. So waiting until 67 would assure that you receive the maximum possible that you can receive, which will be 50% of what your ex-spouse receives. I also want to state that what you receive on that work record will not reduce your ex-spouse's amount. It is a separate bucket in a sense within their Social Security record. And also, your ex-spouse is entitled to collect Social Security retirement benefits.
Okay, we have an interesting question from Paul.
Okay,
When and
Paul.
how when and how can one withdraw Social Security his when and how can one withdraw his Social Security application if one decides to go back to the workforce? And what is the process for doing this and what will be the impact?
Okay. So that's a great question. So first, you have up to a year to withdraw from your Social Security. Now that's from the form SSA 521. This is in layman terms, this is a request to withdraw application form. You have to complete the form with the details and include the reasons. Now, if you received Medicare benefits, you want to indicate whether you want to keep them or withdraw from them. And unfortunately, if you already received any payments after getting, if you received any payments basically after you claimed, you'll need to repay any money that you received, including any Medicare premiums, taxes, and garnishments, such as anything from the state that will fall under that garnishment, child support or things of that nature. So you will submit that form ultimately. Send or bring the completed form to a field office. And again, you can find your nearest field office by just calling a 1-800-772-1213 phone number. You can only withdraw again your application within 12 months of your Social Security retirement approval, and it can only be done once. Great question.
Here's another one for you. How can a surviving spouse claim her deceased husband's Social Security on a continual basis? She has only received only one check with a larger amount and now is back to hers only.
Hmm. And not without asking for a follow-up with that question. So you can claim on your spouse, your ex-spouse, and you say you received a lump sum. I'm just trying to follow the question. If you received a lump sum and you're back to yours, um, there's a death payment, I believe is about 255. That's one that you can receive. And then there is, if you receive a lump sum off theirs that was higher than this, and you switch back to yours, Social Security takes the higher of two, so it will be your Social Security or your spouse's, and they will pay you the higher of either or, but not both. So if you're receiving your Social Security retirement instead of the survivor payments from Social Security, the reason could be because your amount is higher than what you receive as a survivor. And that's the one that Social Security gave you, because they always give you the higher that you're entitled to. Any other questions?
Yeah, here we go. I retired in 2015 and they decided I was a WPO because although the DC government was federal, when I worked there, I could still be an offset. I am SERS. I haven't received the percentage they took out of my SERS since I retired. Will it still be Social Security or will the percentage just be put back into my SERS pension?
Okay, so you received that pension and you were receiving a GPO government pension offset. So what Social Security should have done by now, or I would say keep that mySSA account, go online or call the Social Security Administration. But you should receive a lump sum payment back to at least January 1st of 2024. No further back than that, unfortunately. So whatever Social Security withheld from January 1st of 2024 up until April of last month, you should receive a lump sum payment towards either your direct deposit or how you receive your funds. And then moving forward, your payment every month should be increased. So for more information on that, I would log into your mySSA account or call the Social Security Administration or make an appointment. Next question.
Okay, we have another one. Under the Social Security Fairness Act, how will the benefit of a survivor who has reached FRA be calculated if the deceased spouse has not had reached FRA but had not yet filed for benefits?
Ask me that question again, Mike. Sorry about that.
Under the Social Security Fairness Act, how will the benefit of a survivor who has reached FRA be calculated if the deceased spouse has reached FRA but had not yet filed for benefits?
Okay, so you haven't yet filed. So with the repeal of the WEP and GPO, survivors who would be affected by the provisions will basically receive increased payments. Specifically, the GPO would have reduced or eliminated the spousal or survivor payments for those whose deceased has not had a covered pension. So the repeal basically means that survivors could see a significant increase in their payments, potentially up to 2/3 of the amount of the deceased spouse's pension. So if you haven't claimed yet, then you won't, in a sense, have to deal with the reductions. So when you go in, you just won't have that formula included in what you're receiving.
Okay, this is a follow-up to one of your answers.
Okay.
I received a payment of over $3,000 direct deposit into my account recently. No explanation of what it was for. Could this be the retroactive?
And whoever has asked that question, you are right on track. So that could be it. But I don't want to just assume. Bad things happen when you assume. So I would say log into your account, look for any notices, check your mail again, reach out to Social Security. Just make sure that is what it should be. Should be that retroactive amount without assuming. Because the last thing I want anyone that's attending this presentation to receive an overpayment. That is never fun. So just mySSA account, check online, call, or make an appointment. Of course, online is the quickest turnaround currently.
Okay, we have one more.
Yeah.
How will the benefit of a survivor who has reached FRA be calculated if the deceased spouse had filed at age 70 and was receiving the benefit?
So the survivor reached full retirement age, deceased spouse filed at age 70 and was receiving Social Security.
Right.
Now, spousal payments are based on your deceased spouse full retirement age. So that being 66 or 67, depending on which year they were born. If they were born on or after 1960, their full retirement age is 67. Um, or if it was before 1960, it's about 66 and some odd months. So your benefit or your payment for surviving spouse is based off their full retirement age. So going until age 70 won't increase it. Social Security will base it off of their full retirement age, and that will be the amount that you would receive.
We have a question here. Do you think members of Congress will vote to defund Social Security?
Well, I will say that it takes both sides of the aisle to come to a conclusion. And that isn't something that is looking like any of the options that they're looking to move forward with. I can go back to let me go back some slides for my visual learners like me. These are some options for Social Security for the future. Eliminate the raise the wage cap, increase payroll taxes, reduce payments for higher income earners, such as those that make, I don't know, let's just say $1 million or more, raise the full retirement age, or utilize other funding. This is some of the bullets and some of the top choices that Congress can use to help secure the future of Social Security. And looks like, yep.
I got one more. Is there a specific person at Social Security to help deal with this issue? This person has been trying to help an 82-year-old person since that person cannot survive on $550 per month. Is there a specific person that they can talk to?
Um, I would say that would be best to just make an appointment at the administration. I mean, at the local field office, speak to a claim representative, and see what options might be available since they will be able to see what is called your master beneficiary record. And they'll be able to give you some options, or if that is the only option that's available, they'll be able to clarify that and point you in the right direction.
We have a question here. Can I work while still getting Social Security?
Yes, you can work while still getting Social Security, actually. So as long as you are working in the month or after the month that you hit your full retirement age, you won't receive any reductions. But if you are working before your full retirement age, there are income limits and a formula that's involved on how much you would have reduced based off of how much you're earning. But that isn't the end of everything because after they reduce that money and withhold that money, um, what Social Security does is they give it back to you once you get to your full retirement age, not in a lump sum, unfortunately, which would be great, but as a credit in a sense, and it will elevate or raise what you receive every month and then be paid over or paid out over a course of time. Great question. Any more for me, Mike?
You have, I'm trying to go through these and make sure
Yep.
I am 64 and receive Social Security. Um, when can when can I work without income being affected by Social Security?
Great question. So the month that you return your full retirement age, what that would be. Did he state what year he was born in that question? I didn't think I heard
He
that.
just said I am turning 64.
Okay. I don't know that math off the top of my head um to get you what your full retirement age would be. But when you hit your full retirement age, that month, let's just say your birthday is June 30th, for example. When you reach June 1st of the year that you reach your full retirement age, you can work as much as you want without receiving any reductions.
Okay, here's one. What is the federal retirement age if my spouse retires before then and has been fully vested in his pension? Will this impact my Social Security payment from his when I turn 67?
Ask that question again. Sorry, Mike. I'm trying to make
What,
sure I follow
yeah,
that scenario.
what is the federal retirement age if my spouse retires before then and has been fully vested in his pension? Will this impact my Social Security payment from his when I turn 67?
Well, this is okay. So he's fully vested into his pension, and will what he's fully vested into, will it affect this individual when they turn 67? So with the Fairness Act, the pension won't offset anything. So that would be the GPO, the government pension offset, that would have had an effect on reducing your payments. So when you turn 67, um, there's something called the deemed filing rule, where when you apply for spousal benefits, you have to apply for your own at the same exact time. And Social Security will give you the higher of either or, but not both. So you can't double dip. So it won't affect yours, but Social Security will pay attention to which one you're entitled to, which one pays the highest, and that's the one that you will receive. But the pension being fully vested should not affect your payout. Now with the Social Security Fairness Act.
Do you think that the government will privatize Social Security? And if so, what are the pros and cons?
That's a great point, but that I must stay away from that question. It's not the topic for today. Um, let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
Yes.
What is my full retirement age? I was born in 1954.
Let me, I should just pull up the policy. Policy. Give me a moment. Let me just go pull up the policy. I feel like I'm gonna get a lot of questions about full retirement age. Give me one moment. I'm on SSA.gov. Moment. Did they give the year again, Mike?
Yes, 1954.
So 1943 to 1954, your full retirement age is 66 on the dot. So when you turn 66, that is your full retirement age.
Okay, you got another one with an age, 1961.
1961. So
Yeah.
anyone that's born on 1960 or after, your full retirement age is 67.
Uh, if I start collecting at 70 and keep working, how much can I make not to get penalized?
You won't be penalized because you're past your full retirement age, so you can work as much as you want. Now,
Okay.
of course, you have to pay attention to whatever taxes and things of that nature, but as far as for Social Security, you won't be penalized on that forefront.
Okay. We have one more.
Okay.
What's the difference between going to the Social Security office and doing it online? Are there any benefits to either?
Do have something up? I was looking at that actually earlier today, and I'll actually have an answer for you. Give me one moment. Sorry about that. Now, so for um, virtually, of course, you can skip the lines, the wait times. Um, you can do online applications and so forth. But for going in person, um, as you might have seen, for identity verification, you would have to go in. Uh, but if you have a very specific case, I would say, or a specific claim, going into the field office can really help if you need someone to give you real answers in real time right there. It can really help. Versus going online, you can look at notices versus going in the office and ask for a notice. You can also make direct deposit changes. Uh, you can do online applications, but mainly I would say you go into the office because you have a specific situation, or you have to verify your identity, or I'm trying to think if there's any other options or anything else why you would need to go in. But I believe those are the main points on why you would want to go in, or unless you were requested to come in.
Do I have to pay Medicare if I have private insurance?
You do not have to pay Medicare, but keep in mind when you turn 65 that is the time where you're supposed to elect for Medicare. So it's important to reach out to Center of Medicaid Services and let them know that you don't want your Medicare to start because you're receiving private insurance. That way, when you're ready for Medicare, when that time does come, you won't be penalized and have a increased payment because it looks like you just took too long to basically start it. So make sure you still reach out and let them know that you have private insurance and you do not need Medicare to start just yet. I would like to note that Medicare Part B is taken directly out of your Social Security payment without you having to do anything. It's done automatically for you.
I haven't received my lump sum payment yet, nor the increased monthly payments from the Fairness Act. Is there a time frame for this to happen?
So yes, to answer your question, basic, yes. So Social Security and Congress and the Fairness Act started sending out payments as early as April 1st. Now we're a month in and some days, so there is a chance that they're still trying to send out more payments. The best thing is to do is to go online to see if your payments have changed or if there's any notices, or reach out to the administration and ask them directly if this is part of something that you should be receiving due to your work record. And I would like to also go back to the other question. Another reason to go in the field office would be to replace a social security card as well. That's always important. But you're about to be able to view it online soon.
Jamie, that concludes the questions.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Anything else, Tisha? I'm loving your profile picture over there. Oh, you're on mute, I think.
Am I still
There you go.
muted? All right, great, fantastic. I think that's it, Mike. If
Okay.
are there any more questions?
No, that's it.
All right, if there are no more questions, Mike, if you want to close us out, thank you so much.
Well, thank you all for participating today. We hope you feel encouraged and have a better understanding of the Social Security Fairness Act. Come back and join us for strategies to maximize Social Security benefits on Tuesday, June the 3rd at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. In the chat box, you'll see a link to register for that event. You will also see the AARP Social Security link in the chat box as well. If you are interested in rewatching this program, please check out our AARP Virginia YouTube page. Again, a thank you to our guest, Jamie, the AARP staff, and you. Again, I'm Mike Castillo, your AARP volunteer. Thank you for joining us today. This concludes our program. Have a great day.